Okay, hi guys. While you're sleeping, I'm writing this lecture for you. So far we have improved complex example from previous lecture, and in this lecture I'm going to show you how to use templating language much better than before. So we don't want our HTML code to be repeated. Yeah, so this is the first thing. The second thing that I have added database, and for this I have created additional files here, yeah, like db.py and init tables. So yeah, and finally I will show you some registration and login with the cookies using the session. So let's start from the base HTML. So basically, this is the same page as before, like the index page, yeah. And let me show you how it looks like right now. So if I run my application, you'll see that it is running. And if I go to the my localhost, you will see that the it's working the same way as it was before. Like everything is working, and yeah. And I have erased some unnecessary links here, yeah, that I didn't want to show and that I didn't want to use. So basically these four URLs that we are interested in. So here we have login page, register page, yes, and we have also about us, yes, something like unnecessary too, obviously, but this is our pages. So if I do login, for example, I have registered some username here and I will provide a password here. So you can see that the output of the menu bar is changed. Yeah, so you can see my username here. You can see that I can upload the file and I can do logout. Yeah, and upload file is the same as it was before in the previous lecture. So I can upload a file and it will appear in my saved files folder. Okay, so you've seen it before, but what we have here, like I can now click on my username and I will be redirected to the user page. Okay, so I can redirect to the user page and you can see that I have my username, first name and second name to be presented here, and also I have imported the lecture 5 database here, yeah, so I can show you that I have my cars here, yeah, and I own two cars because I love the cars and because I can do it, yeah, I love myself. So I can do logout. So if I do logout, I'll be redirected to the home page, yes, and I can do login again. So I have another users like run and the same password here. So we can see that data is changed and user ID is changed as well. Okay, so how we've come to this point. So let's do step by step. Yeah. Firstly, how we can inherit from the base HTML. I literally copied the index HTML and put it here, but using the Ginger templating language, we can divide the HTML page into blocks. So you can see that here we have a tag, yeah, and also I have left some kind of comments here. You can read it, yeah. So all the pages that will inherit from this base HTML will have their own title in the title hashtag. Oh, sorry, in the tag, yeah, HTML tag. And title is just the name of the variable. Let's say that this will be recognized as a variable, yeah, and this variable will be provided in other pages. Okay, so you can see that I have a starting block here and I'm ending the block. So if you start a block, the block should be closed. Okay, so this is a must, and here will be written some data actually. Okay, and this data will be written in the other pages. So what else I have changed in the body? So here you can see that if we have authorized user, he will see a different layout for the menu bar. Okay, and if our user is not authorized, yeah, authenticated, he will see another layout for the menu bar. Yeah, so if user is unauthorized or unauthenticated, we will see login and register links. Okay, so we have some corresponding views in the main HTML main.py. And yeah, if our user is logged into the system, he will see different layout. So we can see that username, yeah, we're getting from the session, and I do some function, yeah, some filtering function of Ginger templating language. It will capitalize the first letter, and username is actually in the lowercase. And we also can upload if we are authenticated, and we also can log out if we are authenticated. And you can see this is actually some kind of conditional here. Yeah, so Ginger templating language supports the conditionals. So we can do if, else, and if. And you can also provide some elif statement, but this is usually not used. Okay, so this is how the menu bar is changed now. Okay, and what else we have here? So here we have main body block. Yeah, so this is the main body block. All the data that is related to a page will be presented here. Okay, so this is the main changes, and you can see that I have erased everything that was related to the index page. And here we have footer, and nothing changed here actually, so we don't have any changes in the footer. So what we are interested in, that in body, yeah, where the main content should be placed, we have created a block called main body. So now if we go to the index page, you can see that I'm providing to the block title block the name of the page. Yeah, so the home page here looks like home page. Closing the block must be done. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is coming because I have placed the comment here. Yeah, so if I put it here and refresh the page, you will see that it is erased. Okay, so actually I didn't know that Ginger is recognizing the comments and putting it in the content. Okay, my bad here. But here we also have main body. Yeah, so this is the coming here. So all this content starting from here, starting from welcome to lecture something, and all this stuff here is coming from the main body block, yeah, which is placed here actually. And you can see that I don't have any head text or body text starting. I'm just inheriting from the base HTML. To inherit from a base or layout HTML, whatever, you just need to use this extends gender templating keyword, yeah, place it in the curly braces in the percentage mark, and provide the template name. Okay, so this is how the templating language works, and actually all the other pages does the same stuff. Yeah, so login HTML is inheriting from the base HTML. We are providing its name. Yeah, so it should be coming here because login is doing the same stuff. Yeah, so if I go here, you can see that I'm providing unnecessary data. Yeah, so in about page we also need to erase this stuff. So in title we don't want to see this comment. Yeah, actually this might be HTML comment, but Ginger templating language recognizes it as a data. Okay, so the same stuff again. We are inheriting from base HTML, providing the data for corresponding blocks. Yeah, we have block called title. We are providing its data here. We have block main, and we are providing the data here too. So I've just copied this from previous pages and place it here. Okay, so and actually yes, so everything is working fine here. This is recognized as the comment in HTML. Okay, yeah, the rest is the same for the all the HTMLs here. Registration. Here I have created some table, and actually I don't want to see this context. Yeah, I do have all this stuff, and let's go to see how the database works. Yeah, so I have created a kind of helper class here, and I'm importing SQLite 3. You can use whatever database management system you want to use. It might be PostgreSQL, it might be MySQL. Yeah, the logic might be the same, almost the same, except that you also need to provide your credentials like your username and password for the SQL server. Yeah, and you can get it from the lecture number 5, and it will be the same. What I do here, I want an object in my main py to do all this stuff. Yeah, so I don't want to repeat myself, and this is one of Zen of Python rules. Yeah, so here I create an object, and by default my DB name is going to be called lecture 6, and during the creation of the object I can actually provide this name to be another name. Yeah, and also I would like to create some connection and cursor attributes. Yeah, so I have my DB name, I have my connection, and I have my cursor as an attribute of an object. Next, I have three methods. First one is the connect. When I do connect, I get connection between the database and also create a cursor object from the connection. Yes, so my cursor is going to be cursor object created from the connection, if you remember the lecture number 5. And yeah, if you open connection with the database, you obviously need to close it, so you can erase this data later or just want to commit changes and so on. And I have this simple method called make query, and I will provide some string value here, and I will use this execute script method from the cursor object. Yeah, and yeah, here I will provide some string, which is obviously some SQL statement here, some SQL query. And also I have this init table, initTables.py. And if you remember the lecture number 5, there were examples related to creating of tables, creating data inside of these tables. Yeah, I've just copied and pasted it here. So you can see that I'm providing this as a one big string. Yeah, one big string. And this uh, execute script is going to run these queries actually. Yeah, so you can see that I'm finishing this is the logical finish of the query in the uh, SQL language. Yeah, so I don't have any errors. So like I'm just attaching queries to each other here. So I do create table users, I do create table cars. I'm putting some data, yes, like users and cars. Yeah, so I do have login. So I have created one additional field in the users table. So I do have login now, and I also have password. So I have provided these two new fields in my table users, so I can do registration. Yeah, so obviously login should be unique and it should not be repeated. And password, yeah, password is just a char here, and actually I'm not doing the hashing of the password. You can add it by yourself. Yeah, so you already know how to do it, but I recommend you to do this not on the back end but on the front end. So this might be much more secure than hashing the password on the backend. Yeah, this is not a good idea to hash your password on the backend. Usually, uh, you hash your password on the front end, but never mind. This is fine for this example. Yeah. So yeah, I do put some data so I can work with data. Yeah. So I'm passing login user ref name, second name, password, like my credentials here. Yeah, so I have created three user here, and I have also filled some cars table. So two people, me and Burjan, have cars, and Ibek doesn't have cars. Okay, so this is how lecture 6 db looks like now. Yeah, so I do have registered people. This fourth person is coming from the registration from our back end. Yeah, so these three were placed where we initialized the table, but this fourth one is actually coming from the real actions on the with the interaction with our web application. And yeah, we have cars here, and cars are without any changes. Yeah, so how they were initialized, they stay the same. And yeah, guys, if you are using VS Code, you can download in the extensions SQLite extension. Yeah, so you can see SQLite viewer. I have used this SQLite viewer, and yeah, you can open your file using this SQLite viewer, and it will be really nice to see your content of your database. Okay, so this is how our dbpy and init tables work. And actually, let's move to main.py and see what changes we have done here. And actually, I have done. Yeah, you did nothing for now, but you will have your personal tasks on the practices. And yeah, the changes were like I have added session. Yeah, and Flask does this by using assigned cookie. Yeah, so this is not actually a session. So this is a kind of this is a cookie. So inside of this cookie, we can place a data. So to put data inside of this session, yeah, you can see that this is a signed cookie. We need to create a secret key. Okay, so if we have created an app, yeah, so we created it before, and this is a Flask application, and it has an attribute called config, and inside of this you can put a secret key, and your secret key might be anything, guys. Actually, this is always a hash of something. Yeah, something really unique, something that might not be guessed, and really hard to brute force it. Yeah, even though you were trying a lot. Yeah, because this is going to be a really long and hashed string. Okay, right now I'm just using my secret key here, string, and this is fine. Yeah, and yeah, I have initialized my DB object. Yeah, I have created DB object, and I haven't provided a DB name here. Yeah, so my DB name is going to be lecture 6. Okay, and once I have initialized my DB object, I can actually call my init tables function. Yeah, and actually I need to run it once, so I'll just double click on it, and or just run it on the terminal, so my tables will be initialized, and I can see this content. Okay, so um, in main.py we also did next changes. So we have changed the user page, we have changed the login page, sorry, the views, the functions. Yeah, we have added logout, and obviously we changed the register. Yeah, actually this was added on this lecture. So yeah, these are the main changes, and let's start from the login. As we have people in our database, we can do next stuff. We're going to connect to our database and we're going to execute some statement. Yeah, so we do cursor.execute, and actually we can use the make query stuff too, guys. This is going to work too. Yeah, so I've just decided to use execute. This is also fine, guys. And what login does, guys, if this is a post request, yes, we're going to see whether the form contains the username and password. Obviously, it's going to contain at least some data because these files, oh sorry, these fields in login is necessary. Yeah, so you need to fill in this data. Otherwise, you are not going to send this form. Yeah, so you cannot send it before if you don't provide any data. And yeah, this is the problem. I don't have any check here. Yeah, so I'm trying to redirect. Yeah, and obviously I cannot redirect it if I don't have any user. So I don't have any user that I have provided here credentials. And yeah, what I want is do else part here. And actually I didn't uploaded it, but if you watch this lecture, you're going to write down it by yourself. Yeah, if we don't have any data coming from this query, yeah, so the username and password are wrong. Yeah, and we actually fetch nothing. Yeah, so data is empty, data is going to be none. And if data is none, obviously this if statement is not going to work. If it's not working, what we want to do is to render a page, yeah, login HTML with context. And context is going to be this user does not exist. Yeah. So if data is not coming, so the user uh, actually we can make it a little bit better. Yeah. So the the login or username were wrong. Yeah. So on login HTML, I can render this context. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah. So I can render this content, and I'm going to put it here. So if context is coming here, so we will see the message that we are sending it here, yeah, in the else part. So we don't have any data that is coming from the query. Then we are going to render this page again and provide the message to a user. So this is going to be nice. So let's try again to log in, and I'm providing some non-existing user. Yep, but I'm not seeing my message. So what is wrong here? Render template context. Yes. Yeah, it might be that. Yeah, my server wasn't uh, reloading. Yeah, it doesn't reload. And right now, yeah, right now I need to see it. What else? What else wrong here? So I think I'm doing everything correctly. And actually, I need to see this message. I need to see this message. Ah, I don't do return, guys. I need to do return, obviously. So let's do again. Yeah, the login or username were wrong. So yeah, nice. So now we can provide the real user. Yeah, so some user data here. So you know that I don't have any cars. Yes, and I have another thing for you guys. We are moving to the user page here. So user page is generated by this function user page, and we have one positional argument user id which is coming here. Yeah, so we do url for redirect to the user page with the user id. If we are getting the user id, you know that here in my sql query I have two fields. Yeah, I'm getting data for two fields, user id and login, where username and password is this way. Yeah, and I'm getting this user. I'm obviously going to get one user because username or login or username is unique in our database. So yeah, and this is going to be a tuple. Yeah, this is going to be some kind of tuple like user ID like one and user ID here and login here. Yeah. So this is how fetch one will return us data. Yeah, and exactly in this query. So I'm getting user ID and I'm getting login. And when I do fetch one, this is going to be a tuple, and the first element in the tuple is the user ID, and the second one is the username. Okay, so when I do login, guys, username is coming here and user ID is coming here in my URL. Yeah, so this is the positional argument here. Okay, and I do query in my user page, and you can see that I'm selecting login username, user surname, car vendor, and car model, and I'm doing inner join. Yeah, so users and cars on uh, columns, user ID and car owner. So this is the same things. Yeah, so user ID is the foreign key in cars table. So all the matching stuff, yeah, all the matching stuff to this is going to be selected and returned, where user ID is that we have provided here. So if I do fetch all, I'm going to get all the uh, user data. Okay, and actually if user data is empty, if the user data is empty, I'm not showing anything. So the task for you guys is to make a query that way that if I don't have cars, I need to see at least my login, first name and second name. Okay, so this is the task for you. So you will get it on your practice. So yeah, if I do login with the person that has a car, yeah. So Shun has a car. Provide his password. You can see that data is coming here. Okay, so this is working actually, but it's not working the way um, the perfect way. Yeah, so you can fix it. I hope you do it. And yeah, so how session works, guys? So session is coming from this Flask library, yeah, and to work, as I told you before, to work with the sessions, and this is a signed cookie. We need to provide a secret key, yes, and we can fill in these cookies with some data. Yeah, so this is going to be recognized as a dictionary. Okay, so that is why you can access this session uh, object in the on any page. Okay, so this request session, what else you have, I forgot the rest. Okay, never mind, for now it's enough. So inside of the session, we have placed the authenticated Boolean value. Yeah, so the value is going to be true. Yeah, so obviously, if we do login, if everything is okay, we're going to create authenticated field in the session dictionary cookie. In the session, we are also going to provide user ID. Yeah, so this might be different, guys. You can place whatever you want here. Okay, so I've just make it clear. So I can put my user ID here, which is coming from the data, and I also provide my username. Yeah, so this is coming from the query, and I've just pulled it from cursor object using fetch one. This is a tuple. So yeah, I do redirect to user page, and when I go to the user page, I see again my data. Okay, so this is how session work and how we actually interact on the HTML page. Okay, sorry, I need to show base. So yeah, we can access this session, guys. So to access the keys of the dictionary, you need to use the dot, yeah, dot, like accessing the attribute of an object. So we are accessing the key authenticated. So if user is authenticated, he will see a different layout of the menu bar. Yeah, and I told this info at the beginning of the lecture. And yeah, if user is not authenticated, so this is going to be false. Yeah, if this is a false, then we are going to the else part and we see another layout for the menu bar. Okay, and we are ending our condition here. And yeah, next, how user page is working. Yeah, so here we are passing some data. Yeah, so we are obviously getting the data by user ID and all the data related to this user ID, and we are rendering on the page. How we do it? So we place it context to the render template, yeah, and this context is user data. This is an uh, this will be converted to the dictionary when I put it to the render template. So this is a dictionary here. So context is the dictionary, and if it's not empty, yeah, if it's not empty, I'm going to show a table of data related to your user. So username is going to be context 00. Why 20 here, guys? Actually, our user data looks like this way. If you remember, fetch all returns us a list of tuples, and this is going to be tuples, many tuples, yeah, depending how many data we have related to this query. And in this list of tuples, we're going to have login, yeah, we're going to have user f name, we're going to have user s name, yeah, user s name here. So we're going to have car vendor here. So all the query results related by data user, and this fields is coming as many tuples of data. Okay, so if I have one data that is matching to this query, then I will have a list of one tuple. If I have 10, I will have 10 tuples in one list. So this is going to be a first element in a list. Okay, so this 0 means it's a first value. Okay, and actually, oh, let me just show you guys how the context looks like actually. Yeah, so you can see how the context looks like, guys. So I'm using 0 here, guys. I can use 1, I can use 0 because the data is repeated. You can see that these first three values is the same. Okay, so I can use the first tuples, first three elements to get username, first name, and second name. Yeah, or I can use the second. So 0 is corresponding for the first tuple. Okay, if I do 1 1 1 0, yeah, this is the second zero here. The second zero here is the first element inside of our tuple. Okay, so first zero here. first zero is here the first tuple, second zero is the first element in the tuple. Okay, so username, first name, and second name is the same. So here is the username, first name, second name. I'm getting it from the tuple one, tuple zero, and cars owned. So if I have one or more cars, I'm going to run the for loop. So Ginger templating language is supporting the for loop, and I can do. So you can see that it looks like as Python for loop. Yeah. So I do car in context. Yeah, I do car in context, and actually I'm getting these tuples here. I'm getting these tuples here, and I'm using the car name. Yeah, sorry, car, car. What was it? Car vendor and car model. So yeah, let's say that this is the car vendor. Yep, and this is the car model. You can see that car vendor and car model, and this is an order at least. And inside of the for loop we have a list item, yeah, with the car vendor, which is the third element in our tuple. So in our tuple the third element is this one, 0, 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one is the car model. Okay, so this is how it works, and actually it's not so hard to do, guys, and I hope this lecture was useful for you. So try to manipulate with the data, with the templating language, do the tasks that I have mentioned before, yeah, like change this query here, yeah, so that if the user doesn't have the car, at least I want to see his username, first name, and second name. Okay, so this is how it should work ideally. And yeah, so how logout works finally. When I do logout, guys, I have added this URL, yeah, upload, logout, and from the session, this is a dictionary, guys, and in dictionary you have this pop uh, method, yeah. So you have pop and you need to provide a key, so the value will be erased. Okay, so we will fill this with none, yeah. So yeah, we are erasing the authenticated to be false, or well, obviously we don't have this key, and we are erasing the UID key, and we are erasing the username key, and after that we are redirecting to the home page. Yeah, I can do login page here, but I would like to see home page after logout. So this is how logout works, and how register works, guys. Register works this way. When I trigger this, the get method is used, yeah? And if the get method were used, we are just rendering the registration HTML template. But if we fill the form, test user, yeah, test user. So let test user, and first name is the test, second name is user, password is 123, and confirmation of the password is 123. We do register, and we are redirected to the login page. Okay, so yeah, let's log in with the test user, provide the credentials. You can see we are logged into the uh, test user. Yeah, so we are logged to the test user. We do log out. Yeah, and how it works. So I'm getting the data from the request.form, yeah? And if it is not going to be empty, because all these fields are required, guys. All these fields are required, so user cannot send me an empty form, okay? So yeah, when I do send form, yeah, I'm collecting all this data from the HTML page, yeah. So I can get username, F name, S name, password, and password confirmation. On the registration page, I have these inputs, yeah, with corresponding names, yeah, like username, F name, S name, password, and password confirmation, yeah, which is the password conf. So I get all this data, and what I do first, guys, I need to check whether this login exists in my database, yeah, exactly in users table. If it does exist, yeah, at least once, this is repeated at least once, yeah, it's going to be one anyway, guys. So if this data is not empty, yeah, so I get a user that exists in my table, I do redirect, yeah, with the URL for, and where I say where I redirect to the same page with error already registered. Let's see, is it working? Yeah, so I know that test user is registered. Yeah, so I know I provide some nonsense here. So if the test user is existing, you will see this message here on the status bar. Yeah, sorry, in the address bar. So we see that error already registered. Okay, so URL for is uh, if our function doesn't have a positional argument, this is going to be attached to the URL. Okay, so this is going to be attached to the URL if I don't have any positional argument here. So second thing, if we have a unique login, yeah, if we have any unique login, then we need to check whether two passwords are the same. Yeah, so let's say test user 2. So we are providing test user 2, so I'm providing the wrong passwords here. Yeah, we will see a message passwords do not match. Okay, and actually, guys, you can provide your message here. Yeah, so think about how you can do it. And yeah, finally, when we provide right data, yeah, so we don't have this login in our database, and the passwords are matching each other, then we are going to register this user in our database. Yeah, so I'm running query using my db object, and I provide the stuff, yeah, like inserting two users, login, username, user surname, and password. Yeah, and in the database, yeah, in the database, when we created user ID, we say that user ID is going to be integer and it's going to be auto incremented. So that is why I don't need to provide my user ID here. Yeah, so I'm providing a login, user F name, user second name, password, and I'm providing the corresponding values. Okay, so I'm sending this query to the SQL server, and after that, I'm going to commit these changes to my database. Yeah, so if I don't do commit, this is not going to appear in my table. Okay, so you can see that our previously registered test user is here. Okay, so we can see his password here, so we can see his login here, we can see his ID here, which was auto incremented. Okay, so yeah, after successful registration, we are redirecting to the login page, and we can see that we have successfully registered context, yeah, which will also appear here after the registration. Yeah, so yeah, let's use the test user 2, and this is going to be test user 2, password is 123 123. We do registration, and you can see that we have successfully registered. Okay, so we can change it to be MSG actually, but I prefer to use context word. Okay, So yeah, let's use test user 2, try to log in by his credentials. Yep, you can see that the menu bar is changing because of the session, yeah. And we can see that we have empty context, yeah, which is coming from the user page here. Yeah, so the context is empty actually. So that is why we cannot see this table with the username, first name, second name, and so on. Okay, because the query again, the query of the user page is not the best one, and I did it intentionally, guys. So you are doing the uh, database course, yeah. So try to boost your knowledge and try to apply your knowledge here. So this is the all changes that we have done so far, guys. And if you have questions, please ask me. Okay, so I hope you will see this video lecture tomorrow. Yeah, I will turn this on while you will connect. And yep, if you have questions, just ask me. Okay.